What's up, you guys? This is Rob from Guy Plays, and today we're going to take a look at a couple of the things that I did not get a chance to cover on my initial review of Update 21. Alright, so clearly we had to start with the most important bits first, and duh, of course, it is all of this Oberon grass, and it looks pretty fucking fantastic if I do say so myself. The only thing that I do wish just a little bit that they had incorporated some sort of like energy glow or energy color to them. Maybe if they were like tinted in some way, shape, or form by your energy instead of just like this flat green, it would have been nice. However, it's a big step up from not seeing where this thing begins or ends, so that's a plus. And of course, that's just the way that it looks with the non-prime variant. The prime variant actually has these crazy, ridiculous ferns, and they do have this. See, I don't know if the glow's actually incorporated on top of them or if it's just coming in from underneath. Because this one definitely has a little bit more life into it, and maybe I should be rethinking this orange color, because orange and green does not necessarily look good to it's like I'm growing a patch of carrots. Now, moving along to Octavia's Mandachord, I initially wasn't able to find the new instruments because all of the other instruments were available straight from the market, so I figured, that's probably where they'd be, right? However, you actually have to go into the instruments panel, select the instruments, and then you'll be able to purchase them from here. I don't know why they're not available from the market as well, but this is where they're at if you are curious. Plog is definitely more popish. And then Epsilon is a bit more on the electronic end. If you like the sounds of them, I actually really like Epsilon, so I'm probably going to fiddle around with that one. Plog is a little, I don't know, it seems a little plain to me, but you know, that's just my opinion. If you like what you hear, go ahead and pick them up. So technically this next one isn't really a part of the update, however, it did happen in recent events, so I wanted to go ahead and address it because I heard some people were crying on Reddit, and maybe that's just because like they couldn't read or something. I don't know. But Penance did receive a max duration cap of 60 seconds. So basically what this means is now the most you can get out of a Penance charge is 60 seconds worth, which is still a lot of time for you to go around and lifesteal things for your group. This is the one thing that I do want to point out with that though, is now you can be kind of cognizant of the fact that if you've got some overshielding, you can go ahead and use Penance first and then toss out your Condemn afterwards. So that way you can get some of the shields back instead of using Condemn, trying to max out your overshields. Now you can do Penance into Condemn and then go ahead and restore some of your shields back. Because you're already capped out at 60, there's really no point for you to use it when you are at max, because you are just going to be sacrificing some shielding for absolutely no reason, right? So just keep that in mind. You just got to switch up your combos and you're going to be alright. The next thing is Covenant, and I feel like this was a poorly worded way for DE to say this, because I know that some people were thinking that this was some sort of nerf and like this confused people, and I was like, listen, let's just make this clear and simple. DE changed up the ratio to it, so instead of getting a 1% boost for every 100 damage that you receive, you actually get a 1.25% boost for every 100 damage you receive. So that's a 0.25 buff. So that's a good thing. It's not a negative thing, you guys. Just to clarify, it's a good thing. And the last couple of topics that I wanted to cover actually go hand in hand. Oh, isn't that just perfect timing? Now, the one thing that I wanted to go ahead and point out is if you haven't listened to the video where I was reading you patch notes about the weapon buffs, I really want you to toss that up in the background while you're playing. Just have it running and listen up for any weapons that you think are interesting sounding, because some weapons got some pretty gosh darn insane buffs, as we're going to take a look at right now. Now, you guys can't get mad at me. I've got the Lado Prime in here, and I do have a Riven that was kindly given to me by one of my viewers on stream, and right there, that's a little bit of a demonstration of some of the buffs that you could be missing out on if you have not watched that video. I want to go ahead and demonstrate one more because it's absolutely insane and it looks super badass, and I have to give it some love, because of the fact that I absolutely love this weapon. And the Mandachord was another one of the ones that got buffed up, and I know that people were wondering exactly how the headshot thing worked. So as you can see right here, and I don't have the right color scheme going on, but as you can see, the Mandachord got an insane buff, and you combine that with the Scourge's headshot effect, and oh my god, it is fan-freaking-tastic. If anything, it's just a really good light show, so I am imploring you to go ahead and listen to the weapon buff update list that I had kind of read off to you guys in the background, just to see if anything that you really like got touched. I've actually played around with the Opticore, and with the ribbon that I have for it, it's pretty fucking fantastic, and I do believe it has a fairly strong disposition, so definitely check that one out. Played around with the Daikyu. I was a little not so sure about it. I'm still not 100% convinced on that one, but I know that there are several other secondaries that have been touched, and I am excited to see exactly how they go. However, I don't think that I'm gonna have enough time before TennoCon to do like dedicated videos to them, because I am leaving a day early to actually spend some time with my mom, because she's come back from New York. Alright, now I'm gonna stop you before you judge this build. Don't pay too close attention to it, because legitimately I'm still playing around with the dual wielding stuff, and I kind of am trying to see how I feel about it, whether I like the throws better, whether I like the melee better, so just give this a little space. Ignore this, okay? But I did want to point out a couple interesting things for you guys to take note of. So when we go down the kind of like stats down the side, we can have the standard melee, which is just your normal melee attacks, and then we have the throw attacks, which is like, oh, fantastic, we've got the throw attacks. Interestingly enough, you'll notice another damage type right here that is added. So you see here we've got slash, and then we've got this blast thing. The blast is actually going to be recall damage, so you're able to recall your weapon. In dual wielding, it's a little bit different than it is when you are just using the weapon on its own, but we'll go over that in a second. And then we've also got the charge throw. Now the charge throw is not exactly what you think it is. I know it's a little bit weird, but it's not charging it all the way, because I know with charge attacks you kind of like wait at, you know, for a while, and then you smash it and you're like, oh yeah, super powerful, but that's not quite the way that it works with charge throws, at least in dual wielding. So what I wanted to show you is this is a normal thrown attack. That's a normal thrown attack. I've held the button all the way down and you throw it. And for me, my brain would initially say, oh, that's a charge attack, but it's not. This one is. Oh, I didn't do it right. Hold on. You see that where the little blades come out and it's got like a little purple haze to it? That is a charge attack. With charge attack, you get like bonus statistics, whether it's crit chance, status chance, and bonus damage. So you really want to kind of time it out for that. I guess it's a timing thing, and I have seen it do like double damage. I won't say exactly double damage, but it does a good chunk more damage. And the one thing that I did want to point out too is that usually when you're in like your melee stance, you can use your channeling button to recall your thrown disc. So, but here, since you're dual wielding, you don't really have a chance to do any kind of like channeling attacks. So what you do is you hit E again. So I'm gonna go ahead and charge all the way, and you see that explosion. That explosion is actually the blast statistic that you saw in the UI thing. So just be aware of that. Just know that, you know, if you don't necessarily want it bouncing all over the place, you just ain't got time for that. All you have to do is hit it again and it will return to you. Let's see how fast I can do it. See? It didn't even fly. Oh my god, I'm gonna kill myself. And of course the most important part of this update is that Darvo has finally gotten his PBR treatment, because, you know, we visit him that often. I'm just trolling you guys. But that does do it for the facts and figures, so if that's all you are here for, you can skedaddle and have a nice rest of your weekend. However, for those of you interested in hearing me chat about the whole dual wielding thing, stay tuned and we'll jump into a little bit of gameplay. Alright, so let's go ahead and talk about this dual wielding thing, because legit, I'm gonna be honest with you, I was the biggest fucking skeptic about this. I thought that this was, like, if I'm gonna be completely honest with you, I legit kind of felt like, DE, why the fuck are you wasting your time with this? Like, that is my genuine feeling when, you know, they first started talking about it. I was like, I don't care about this. I was like, DE, there's about a million other things that you could be doing that would be more beneficial to the game than putting in dual wielding. I saw it on the dev stream and I was like, really? However, like, if I'm gonna be honest with you, why is it that I kind of absolutely love it? I feel like this was the Archwing situation all over again, and I'm gonna be real with that too. When I first saw them do Archwing stuff, I was like, I'm not about flight sims, you guys. I don't like weird flying ships and stuff. That does fucking jack shit for me. Like, that is not my cup of tea. However, when Archwing finally did come out, I was like, I am having so much fun. And honestly, I feel kind of almost like this is like the unsung hero of this update, because I feel like, I don't know, it's strange because it's not something that I necessarily like think is like the most game-changing thing, but a part of it is almost kind of like, damn, why didn't we have this sooner? This is legit pretty fucking fun. Like, I am enjoying the crap out of this. Ooh, come back to me, baby. Come back to me, baby. One thing that you'll notice that I don't do very well with is actually using my ultimate all too often. That's that's one of my downfalls for some reason. Is I just get too used to this. Oh, where is my stick? Where did I put my stick? But yeah, no. I definitely, this is one of those things that I didn't know that I wanted until I had it, and then all of a sudden it like became my favorite thing in life. And okay, maybe that's making it sound a bit bigger than it is, but it is definitely one of the parts that I really enjoyed from the update that I didn't really expect to like all that much. I was like, dual wielding, cool, no fucking big deal. However, the more you use it, the more it just feels right. I know that sounds weird and cheesy, but it definitely just feels like, oh, like this totally fits in the game. We should have totally had this sooner. And gameplay with it does feel pretty gosh darn fluid. Now I don't know how that's gonna be when it comes down to like legit, like not legit melee weapons, but you know, melee weapons that are literally in melee range. Because the one reason that I like this is I like being able to throw it and kind of being able to shoot and have it kind of bounce. I actually don't use bounce on my builds, but it is one of those things where I like kind of just like letting it loose and then dealing with all the other things around there. It just feels right. And I don't really necessarily know if it adds anything to the gameplay, but come on. Being able to toss that shit in air looks pretty fucking sweet to me, you guys. It looks pretty goddamn sweet to me, and I definitely enjoy it. It's like the little touches that just make gameplay a little bit smoother and a little bit better. I also, okay, this one was a really, really weird thing for me. It was the fact that I cosmetically didn't necessarily like it. I was like, oh, it looks okay, I guess. However, I kind of got a little bit irritated with the fact that it kind of fucked with the way that things look, because it puts you into melee stance, so you don't get the cool stances that you normally do when you're using just the normal Warframe stances. You know, you have like that secondary stance, but this just kind of puts you into melee stance instead, so you don't get the flavor and the personality, and it's kind of like a little bit of a downer for me. However, I don't know, the gameplay just feels really smooth with it. The only thing that I'm not so keen about is I murder myself with the explosions a lot. I'm very self-murdery when it comes to that kind of stuff. No, get away, get away. But being able to kind of mix it up with a little bit of the range stuff in there, especially with the buffs to thrown weapons, it definitely feels better. The only thing is, I don't feel, and this is kind of like, this is just what's going on in my brain, is that even though the charged throw attacks are pretty gosh darn cool, admittedly, I still don't necessarily know if thrown weapons are in that place. You know what I mean? To be able to say like, oh, they're really that fucking good, to like, you know, to be able to have them as a main part of gameplay. Because, I mean, they're fine for the star chart, they are, and that's one of the things that I'm a little hung up on, is, ooh, that combo, hold on, let's check out this combo, because this combo is like a motherfucking shredder. And that's why I was kind of saying I'm not 100% sure how I feel about building it, because I don't know if I want it necessarily for melee, or I don't necessarily know if I want it for either melee or for for thrown. I'm enjoying the challenge of like getting the timing right for the throws, but at the same time, that melee, that quick combo is just too good, and it's fucking fast too. Like, let's just take a look at the standard one on its own. Like, I mean, that's alright, but come on, let's look at it like this. Like, that just feels fucking faster. It's absolutely ridiculous how fast that is. And I like it because it kind of disrupts enemies. Ooh, I'm gonna take that Nikana Prime blueprint and I'm gonna move on with my life. But anyway, so those are my thoughts on dual wielding. I feel like it is one of the unsung heroes of this update. And I don't think that it's a major thing that is gonna redefine the way that the game is played, but I am definitely enjoying it on a personal level. It's not something that I thought that I would like, to be honest with you. But yeah, so I definitely want to encourage you guys to try it out, especially with the new buffed up secondaries. I haven't gotten a chance to try out the Piranha, and that's one of the things that I'm like, ooh, I should really take a look at how that works out. I think it's just a base damage boost and a magazine boost, but that could, I don't know, that might make all of the difference in the world. We'll have to see exactly how that all plays out. But yeah, so that about does it for this episode of I don't even know what this is. whatever the hell this was. Thank you for joining me. Let me know how you guys feel about dual wield in the comments below. That is one of the big things. And message me in game if y'all have been using the new Mandachord stuff, because that's one of the things that I think that we fell off on. We really haven't made any new songs, and I haven't had the chance, just on a personal level, to make any new songs, so I definitely wanted to kind of give you guys a heads up about that. Yeah, I am checking, just so that you know there isn't anything creeping on me behind my back. Regardless, as always, love somebody, hurt nobody, and touch your body. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.